What's up YouTube, welcome back to another episode of Necesse. So a little bit's happened since last time. I did record it, but for some reason it didn't record. My recording software likes to trigger me every now and again. However, honestly, all you've missed is the building of what you can see. Nothing else. The exploring side, I already had the stone, plenty of stone. We've got more stone than we'll ever need. The way I've set it up now is this room, the largest room, is the storage room and crafting room. The two chests to the right hand side are the standard resource room. 90% of everything goes. The central chest is where everything that's been crafted already goes. And the two on the left are for plants and farming. Also, the characters, the settlers that are with us, have had their settings set up so they can put in, because each chest you can click on the little cog icon in the top or the little padlock in the top and tell it what's allowed to go in there versus what not allowed to go in there, and also in what sort of priority. Again, very similar or practically identical to RimWorld where you're doing storage. More and more and more wood. As I've mentioned previously, wood is not the fastest to get. I probably should put a bit of time into my axe. Maybe try and go for the demonite axe, see if that's any better. I am collecting the bush berries as best I can because I want to see if I can basically plant them in a small area altogether. So we've basically like a blueberry farm, similar to what people have strawberry farms in the real world, but also the apple trees as well, because they do harvest those too. So while I collect all the trees I can, until I can figure out why they don't seem to be cutting the trees down very quick, I'm not sure. Maybe it's supposed to do an equipment thing. I might have to give them an axe. I honestly don't know. But so far I have a lot of trees on that right hand side that you just saw planted and grown. That whole area is also selected as the forestry area. I have one person set as a forester as highest priority. But unless I'm missing something, they're not doing it. I mean, there is a small chance that they are doing it and the resources are just being put elsewhere and they're just not getting as much as I actually need. Returning back after another successful run of getting wood, really. 244 you saw there. Storage box has fish in it, so the fishermen are going in. Up here in the top left hand corner you can see, you can click that, and this is where you decide what's allowed in each of the chests, whether it's allowed or whether it's not allowed. And then also at the very top, the priority of course the higher priority will be used first. If then that is full, they will then use the next down on the list. The fishermen always fish by default, it's what they do. You can obviously turn that off if you turn off their settings, but I mean, fishermen are fishermen, right? So why would you turn that off? It's food. If you put the food in the chest that is there that I've just put in the center, in between the two campfires. Now there's two campfires because one has a roasting spit on it, which is for cooking all your different types of meats, the fish, the rabbit, the duck, the cow, the sheep, etc. And then on the left you can see a cauldron. That's for doing more complex things, stews, puddings and soups. So I've done one of each. Then on them you can set tasks. All I've done is set a simple task that says that any raw meat that goes into that chest is cooked into cooked meat. And then somebody at some point gets around to it, and it saves me having to do it, though it's not really that slow. Unlike RimWorld, I can just click and hold and instantly craft everything, but it's just nice to have them doing something for me. Making a rectangle now for our first farm, I hope. So I'm going to put a bit of a fence around that. A couple of apple trees in the middle, though I may get rid of them. But I just want to put a fence around that and a gate with a trough, and then we'll have some cows and sheep once we get them. You can collect the passive ones by using rope, similar to Minecraft, and bring them back and drop them off in there. Or on rare occasions there is a trader that comes around and sells them, but they are not cheap, so I would suggest you try and grab them. Unfortunately for me anyway, I may or may not have mullered and made extinct the entire population of cows and sheep on my island, so that's awkward. Up there you can see there is a bit of water. Now you can build landfill, we will do that in a bit, and fill in that water so I can carry that path on. So the water can be replaced with ground and then you can build on it. So you're not restricted to where there's water to actually make build around it. And hopefully I'm going to try and see if I can build a little pier as well with a couple of torches on it, but we'll see. So reasonably simple controls here to select the group. Go on command, select all, and follow me. Immediately making every single character in your settlement follow you. That automatically puts them into the set for combat mode should you get into combat. Then spawn in the evil protector, 3,500 health, and all of your gentlemen and ladies attack. Obviously me standing back, you saw the evil protector's health did jump up. I'm assuming that's because of the group to keep it sort of steadily even. But it started off as 3.5k, it's now 6,300. So not quite double, which to be fair, the fact that I've got a lot more than double of the people, and they're reasonably kitted out. Armors aren't great, but their weapons are all decent, copper swords or above. You can see he is getting quite significantly pounded. I'm sat at the back. The book I have is a spell book. It's the first one of its kind that I've seen. It was dropped from a vampire in the caves, in a vampire cove type thing. I smashed up all of the, what do you call them, graveyards and tombs that are in the vampire area and got a spell book. It's about 18 damage, I believe, and it uses your mana, though it really doesn't use much mana at all. So as you can see, that's why I'm using it. Switching over to the arrows there just to see if they do more damage, though to be honest, from the damage things that are popping up, I have no idea. So jumping over to the crafting guide, and I'm going to be using this a lot. I'm not used to this game yet, it's first run through. So you put the items into the crafting guide there, and if there is anything it can turn into, they appear there on the right, left, and showing you what else is needed. So there you can make the balanced foci by combining all 4 foci. Each of the foci has a specialization. So the zombie looking thing that I've got, the voodoo doll, obviously that foci is for a summoner. The feather is for bowman. There's another part that is for a melee type champion, and then there's another one that's defensive. They all increase their individual factos in terms of damage. You can't use more than one at a time. However, if you get all 4, combine them into one, it then gives you that balanced foci, which just gives you 15% increased damage on everything. So all we need is the melee, range, magic, and summon, which aren't too difficult to get. They drop from the boss, so you just need to farm the boss. Obviously that can be upgraded there with the mobility cloak, so you get the mobility and the swim speed increased. And just working through here, making sure that I look for any items that you can. So there is a boot that increases your movement speed. There's also a glove that increases your harvesting speed, and a satchel that increases your storage or your capacity. Adding them together makes one item that does all of those things, so this is why it's important. If obviously I'm putting stuff in there and then they have nothing, like that wand in the bottom right hand corner, and the stats that it gives, or the ability that it gives, which is basically just a push forward, like a jump forward ability, then you're comfortable selling it or trashing it or whatever you want with it, to be honest. But this is why I find myself doing a lot of this. Now I won't show it all the time, this is just to give you a bit of a run over on what I can do. Obviously I know that I'm missing that item, and some of the items you can craft, so it's always a good idea to look, especially in the demonic crafting altar. You can then grab those items, combine them together, and you get a whole solid item from that. So travelling south now to the ice biome. The ice biome is clearly where the quest is wanting us to go. The snow caves is where the spider queen is spawned, and that is what we need to do for the next quest. So I've made my way over here. Need a ladder, of course, to get into the caves, which I crafted. A nice little free chest. This tiny little ice island is the only island on this entire square. So it's small, but that don't matter, because when you go into the cave underneath, that's much larger. Yes, I have an ostrich. It was a random feather I found trinket that gives you a mount. I forget to use it a lot because, to be honest, I have the sprint ability and I'm just as fast. And in the water, because I have the fins, I'm faster than using a mount. So I got it and I use it by pressing F, but to be honest, I'm not... yeah, I'm not that impressed by it. But it's a mount. I'm not sure how many there is. And I'm not sure if there's any good ones that fight or anything, but that's the first one we've got, and it is an achievement, so go for that. Now, I am cheesing a bit here. The spiders can't fit through that gap, so they are quite tough. Now, this is a spider, and there you've seen the queen spider has just been spawned. 5k health. She is no joke, as all of the bosses. There's no way I'm going to defeat her by myself at this rate. This bit's not so bad where she just wanders about and spawns little minions. The problem that I find is that that blue stuff on the floor is like an acid that stays there, and if you stand on that, it really does tick down a lot. And then she's doing that fast spam there where she runs at you. Periodically, she does that 3 times, and it hurts. Really, we need to make an arena, again, like Terraria, and I don't... this time, I didn't really realise that. But it's very much where you build like a arena to allow yourself to, of course, have the space to run around. Plus, you need support, right? So we need all of the other guys to help us out. So that's what I did. And that was my first mistake, though I don't know it yet. So I brought the guys along, gave them some food, gave them some potions. Come and collect the giblets that I did drop. For those of you going to make a bigger sort of arena out of this setup, the black on the floor is the spider cave, and it will continuously spawn the spider webs. So you will need to make floor and cover it if you want the spider webs to stop. They do slow you down and your allies down quite significantly. So, minding my own business, really, just making sure it's a bit safer for me by bringing these guys to back me up. For the queen to spawn, again, I would need to either do one of 2 things. Break a spider egg, or craft a spider egg and use it in the cave. At the minute, I wasn't aware what a spider egg looked like, but they are quite obvious. It's a black egg with like blue speckles on it. And as you can see at the bottom left, all of the people are going home because we have no food. And this is the cool thing that I like about this. You do have to put food as well as potions in the inventory. If they get hungry while they're out adventuring with you, they will just say sod it and go home. So I am now back on my own and just farming a few spiders. It's not too difficult, though them ice guys are quite hard. Everything does hit hard, but we knew this because I set it on the hard setting. So that's why my health gets chunked down quite easily, to be honest. I'm not doing the most amount of damage because, again, that's reduced due to the difficulty. But it's making it a challenge, and that's what I want. I didn't want it to be too easy. As you can see, the blood bolts, as I mentioned previously, are homing. So they will go around corners and take out things, making it much easier to hit enemies and less likely to miss. Spamming them into... I don't know why I just walked on that blue poison and that took 22 health off that I didn't need to. Gold ore is quite common in the ice biome. For me anyway. And as you can see, my minions are going to attack where they can. My minion does that. It's annoying though that when your minion attacks someone, they aggro on you. They don't aggro on the minion. But as long as the minion kills them in time, it don't matter. But if they don't, then you get them smashing on the back of your head while you're trying to do something else that you didn't even know they were there. Quest here. So we can hand that in. I'm looking for a quest is how you hand in quests. It's a bit annoying. And there we go. And now we've got the quest to kill the queen. So knowing now it's essential for us to look after the guys that adventure with us and therefore fight bosses and hopefully defeat them. Food is already sorted. I just need to make sure I put it in the party storage. Healing, however, needs 2 other things. So I've got a load of sand crafted here from the alchemy table, which gives us glass bottles. We can then use that to make potions. Health potions being quite significant, and a lot of them also, I use them quite a bit. Health potions, all it is 3 sunflowers and a glass bottle, and that is a health potion. So what I need to do is throw down a giant field, or from some farming land. And on that farming land, I will grow a crap ton of, that's a rough number, a rough crap ton of sunflowers, and those sunflowers will be grown specifically and only for turning into health potions. I think sort of 15 or so on me at any one time is fine, and then the rest of them will just be in the storage for the adventure party. They use them as they're fighting, and again, if they get low health, they will leave, but if they've got a potion and they heal themselves up, they won't. So it's definitely something you need to look into, especially if you're wanting them to fight the bosses. They're not the smartest in the world, and they won't dodge the stuff that lands on the floor. The poisons and the sort of meteor type things from that first boss, they will just stand in them. So health pots are important. Also, it looks like from what I've seen, they don't have the timer like we do. Every 30 seconds we're allowed to use one. It doesn't appear that they have that debuff, so that's good. So yeah, planting a big field here of sunflowers, and they will be turned into health pots, and the seeds will be replanted, and rinse and repeat. Likely I can get like 50 to 100 health potions, and then that should keep them up and fighting for me for the next boss, so we can bring down the Spider Queen. I made this windmill just because I saw it when it was one of the options that I could craft. To have a look, I'm just checking it out. Clearly it's used for grinding coffee, rice, flour, sugar, and more sugar. So you need to do farming. I haven't used it yet, but of course flour is used for making bread, and there are a few other things. Sweet corn you can turn into popcorn, which I am doing. Sweet corn turned into popcorn then is eaten. Eating popcorn gives you a 20 health boost. It's not fantastic, but it's certainly significant. I mean, it's 10%. As you can see there, I've just got everything set in terms, or I'm setting everything, anything that's meat wise, and I'm just saying do forever. So if we ever get any raw food in stock anywhere, they will automatically, well, at least the person supposed to be cooking will automatically cook. I do need to put the fuel in though, because as of yet I haven't found a way of setting that they fuel the machines themselves. And then just doing some colony settlement management, going into, you could do it easily by pressing C. Work priorities, you can see here, that's what you set them to do, but then it's this assign work, and I hadn't set this up to start with. So that's where you assign the storages, the workstations. The forestry zone is the important one here. So this side here where I've got this forest growing that I have planted myself, I will select then that anything within this square is deemed as please cut down, and also please plant new seeds where you can. Which, to be honest, you get a lot of seeds from the tree, so that should never be an issue. Doing this should give us wood for days. You just need to make sure you've actually got a settler that is set to do the cutting. Now, I'm having a few issues with that myself, where it doesn't seem to be working, or I can't get it to work, or it's me, one of the two. But the same goes for husbandry, so you can set where you want your farm to be, which we've already made that area there, so I'll select that. Automatically slaughter animals at a set number, so I think 5 is sufficient. And then the fertilized zone, which means that if you've got fertilizer and somebody that can fertilize, they will fertilize your crops, making them grow faster and also yielding more resources. With that set up, the settlement is nice. We just need to wait for the day now to let them do their jobs as we have asked them to. But we are at time, so I'm going to end the episode here. Thank you very much for watching. If you like the video, please hit like. Any comments are welcome as always. Subscribe for more. Join us on Discord. Take care. Goodbye.